Hello YouTube, my name is Siphon. In today's video, I'll be going over the corrosive sludge pump for the driller. Now in this video, I'll be showing a little bit of gameplay first, and then we'll be going over the build. Now right here's a group of enemies. Now if you're to shoot down the corrosive pump with a charge attack, it'll do a large kind of AoE on the ground. Some like a coverage, so it'll do the main blob, which does a good bit of damage, and then also shoot down these like blobs around. Now, enemies take damage as they pass through these, and they'll get an effect, which is like poison, and they'll take damage over time. Now, whenever you do a single attack, you just click, it'll shoot like one blob, and it can only damage one enemy unless you shoot on the ground, which any enemy that goes over it will also take damage. As you can see there, they kind of just dissolve away whenever they die. So there's two different kind of versions of this build you could do. There's the more direct damage where I can shoot them, it does a good chunk of damage, and the corrosive like poison lasts on them longer and does more damage. But there's also a another version where you can make it more of a slowdown, where what you do is say there's enemies coming through there, you shoot it down like your charge attack, and now this whole choke point is now covered in sludge, so whenever they pass through here they'll be slowed down, and you and your team, or you with your secondary, can just shoot the enemies as they're passing through. So they'll be going like next to nothing speed. So there's just a little overview. So let's get right into the build. And alrighty guys, so as you can see here, this is my current driller loadout. So you can see there's my perks right here, my active ones, and you can see my secondary, all my other stuff here, and you can see the upgrades on the side. Now if you want to pause and kind of copy what I have, this is probably one of the better builds with driller. Now the thing with the plasma charger is I'm going for just straight up damage, as the Zubata is more based off fire, so that's why I have this. But the main thing we're going after here is the corrosive sludge pump. Now as you can see here, the first upgrade we're going to be going with is the high capacity tanks. This one just allows us to have more ammo per magazine, so we don't have to reload as much. This is very helpful as the charge attacks do drain a large portion of your ammo in your magazine, and you definitely don't want to be caught, reloading mid-fight. Now also we're going with the dice nozzle. This is just going to make us do more damage per charge attack, and our main goal with this build is to just be doing charge attacks. I don't really find a use in spamming left click against enemies, as they'll just take damage from the poison. Now right here we're going with the more goo canisters. This just allows us to have more damage, as in like right here, if we were to go with this potent goo mix, we're only going to do an extra 10 damage for a single shot. But as I said earlier, we're not using our single shot, we're only doing our charge attack. So having that extra 50 in order to get off a good another chunk of our charge attacks off, then it's going to help us do a lot more damage in a fight. Now next we're going to go with the spillback extension. Also, we want to lower down that charge cost for the charge attack. So instead of 5, we're going to be going with 1. Now, if you can, I would go with this improved spooling mechanism thing, which will make your charge time go down significantly. But I would only do that if there's an overclock in which you can decrease the charge cost. And if there's not, or something that can increase your damage in the overclocks, then I would definitely just go with this spillback extension. Now as the last one, we're just going with the acid here. This is just going to make us do more damage over time, so we just shoot like 1 or 2 charge attacks on our enemy, and then we just let them dissolve to the ground. Now this is the straight up damage build, so let's go to the slowdown build. Alrighty guys, and as you can see here, this is the slowdown build. Now what we're going with in the first row is the air sensitive compound. This is just going to make sure that the enemies have a higher chance of hitting our goo that we throw down. Now in the second tree right here, you can either choose whichever one you want. I like the dice nozzle just for doing more direct damage. You could also go with the atomizer nozzle. I'd only recommend this one on egg missions and maybe swarmer missions, as being able to hit more enemies with a single attack is a lot better, but for most situations the dice nozzle will do just fine. Now in the third tree here, going with the super saturation. This one is decently good. Now I would recommend going with more goo canisters if you don't really know how to manage your ammo very well, but having that extra damage over time and increases the puddle lifespan is definitely really good. And you can also probably make up for it with an overclock, but I obviously don't know because I don't have any. Now in the fourth here, we're going with the spillback extension. We're only going to be doing charge attacks, so having that decreased charge cost is really good. In the final tree here, we're going with the disruption mix. Now this is just going to make sure that they move extremely slow. When they pass through this, they literally get instantly stopped and they're just going to be taking damage the whole time. We'll also go with the acid here. Make sure you get some more damage down, but just having that slowdown combined with everything else, it just makes it a lot better. Alrighty guys, well thank you for watching. That was my guide on the sludge pump for the driller. Now that was 2 builds. There was the damage over time build and there was the straight damage build. Now both builds are really good, especially in deep dives that have giant groups of enemies, as the charge attack is what you're mainly going to be using, and that's just going to leave a bunch of like fragments on the ground that do a lot of damage. Now I will be going over the other weapons this week, so stay tuned for that. And if you like what you saw, just drop a like button. It really helps me out. And if you guys want to definitely see more, then subscribe, as I'll be doing weekly videos from now on. I did take a break for a little while just to catch up on school, that kind of thing. I talked about it in my last video, which if you guys haven't checked out yet, definitely should. That was about the new update that this is. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.